that what we want? If she is poor, she also deserves the same emergency treatment. But when she is a poor Indonesian domestic worker, it doesn't get into the news. But she happens to be an extremely rich lawyer. That's why it gets into our news. Right? So you see, we are a very racist, classist, discriminatory city. And this is our culture. The rest of the world would understand us through these experiences in our city. And they go back, it is a headline in their own culture in the city. Hong Kong killed our lawyer. Hong Kong kicked out our ambassador. That's what cultural policy needs to deal with. We need cultural infrastructure to change the mentality and values and the cultural filters and biases that we teach our population. That's why we need a class on culture. So culture and political participation, it's about all these. Political participation is not just about voting. It's also about democratizing our public space, making our culture more inclusive, tolerant, and democratic to everyone. Okay. So this is a very important issue. Social solidarity and association. Having everyone understand one's own culture makes you feel more connected to the place. The more accepted and connected a place, the more you like your culture, the more you feel passionate about it, the better you treat your own city. The more you love your city, the more you identify with it, the more you would give to making it a better place. It is a very, very important element in creating a citizenry that thinks about not just selfish self, but also about the long-term future of the place you live in. So social solidarity and association has to be cultivated through cultural identification. And how do you do that? You make people love their own culture. And the place is the same as the culture. It's not, your culture is never disconnected from the place it grows out of. If you hate Hong Kong people, if you hate Hong Kong culture, how can you want to do something good for Hong Kong? And so on and so forth. 6. Cultural sites and recollection of past heritage. Why my whole summer, I canceled my trip to India to save the Queen's Pier. Because it has a history that we are not taught in the history books. And nobody in the mass media knows about until we talk about it. And we'll talk about it later in some other weeks. It is a part of having a history. If you have a history, you're not rootless. You are more anchored and rooted in a culture. And you don't try to just earn quick money out of it, exploit it, and leave. And you would invest in a long-term betterment of your city and yourself and your business and your career that is rooted in that city. This is what we call tacit and sunken, sticky investment. Right? Hong Kong is good at attracting fast money that come and go. Finance, real estate, speculation. These monies, when Hong Kong's conditions are not good, they will all leave. These are not long-term investment. And I don't need to care about how your life is going to be like 20 years later. You might all be dead, but I am much richer. You might all be out of jobs, but I am much richer. How do you attract people to invest sticky investments that doesn't leave the city? That's a very, very different kind of ability. That's a very different kind of investment that won't leave in the bad times. And Hong Kong is extremely, extremely poor at doing that. And when the money leaves, like the Asian economic crisis in 97, 98, that's what happened to you. If you don't attract sunken, sticky investment, you die as a city together for 7 years. Okay. That's a punishment for not having a good policy. And we do it to ourselves. We have nobody else to blame. Now, cultural influences on value formation and evolution. That is very obvious. Your culture influences how you value. Your values are like. If you have good values, you evolve better. And in Chinese, we often say that for the nouveau rich, for those people who get rich suddenly, they often don't know how to bring up their second generation, and the second generation loses their entire fortune. Yisaizhou. Hong Kong is a pretty much Yisaizhou city. Now this is basically what this is about, this essay. And I return for the last. Do we not have time? No. Okay, then you read it yourself. It's so obvious. Right? So how culture and economics actually need to be integrated to think of a better policy that is at the same time a cultural policy and an economic policy. Okay? Thank you, everyone.